What's up? Is this better? Is this better, better, better? You there? Are you there? Can you see me this time, Paul? Because if you can't, I don't know what the fuck's going on with YouTube. Can you see me? Can you hear me? And are you just fucking with me right now, Paul? How's everybody doing? I'm back. I had to switch devices, I guess. Yes, you can see and hear me now. I don't know what's going on with YouTube today. I just had to go through 4 different devices and um, 2 different software platforms just to get back on YouTube. So something is happening with the streaming this week that's just going nuts. And I think it's got something to do with the fact that they don't want all of us getting our shit out here right now. So this camera's fucking weird though. I don't like it. You know, it doesn't automatically mirror like my other camera does. But I have more interactions on my laptop here. I just can't walk around with you and talk shit. So it is what it is. But we're going to start putting a poll up in all of our lives, and we're going to listen to a couple things that some of the bigger. So now we got Democrats out here talking about wanting cops dead. Okay, we have politicians out here gleefully saying they're fantasizing about killing their political opponents. They're calling us fascists when every day they prove that they are fascists. Good. I'm glad you can. And I have more options on here, so. Oh, you know what? I can. Did that help? Is it a little more vibrant now? I didn't know I had an option to change things up there, but I did. So, right now, we have Pam Bondi live most of the day today talking about what's about to go down. So let's take a little listen here for a moment.
How many Department of Justice and FBI personnel,
career ethics officials within the department and make the appropriate decision, end of quote.
Can you hear this?
But the Justice Department then removed those career ethics officials and put in their place inexperienced political appointees beholden to President and you. And you've effectively shut down the Office of Professional Responsibility, which investigates.
Let me make this very clear. Every single thing you're going to hear from a Democrat is basically how it's okay for their constituents to go out and rape, kill, pillage, and murder. Okay, they're giving the go-ahead when you say that the sitting administration of the United States government is just doing whatever they want when they're actually following the law. Everything we're doing is 100% by the law. The Democrats do nothing by the law. Okay, so when you have a communist party that does nothing but project everything they do to you upon you, how do you coexist with these people? You know,
conduct by Department of Justice attorneys. Now, with these ethical guardrails out of the way, corruption has run rampant at the Department of Justice. Although you've been a registered foreign agent for Qatar, you did not recuse yourself from signing off on President Trump's solicitation of a free jet from the royal family, even though this gift was clearly illegal.
Wait a minute. First of all,
Connections to Attorney General Bondi seem to be.
first of all, you can accept whatever you want as the president of the United States. We haven't upgraded our Air Force One in over a decade, and another country offers you $1 billion fucking plane that's far more high tech than the one that you're flying in. Yeah, you take that motherfucker, especially when that country's been getting over on you for so long, paying them more than they're paying you. Fucking not illegal at all. There's nothing illegal about that whatsoever. You can accept gifts in the United States government from fucking foreign leaders. That's a fucking thing that they do. Every time a president goes and sees a foreign leader, they give them something, you know? Anyway, it's just getting nuts out here. And then you got Bucker. When you got all these Democrats that are literally the reason our government is shut down right now. And I want to see action. I'm tired of not seeing any of this going anywhere. And now Charlie Kirk's autopsy has been released, and it doesn't make sense at all. Nothing that they're saying now about the Charlie Kirk assassination makes sense at all now that the autopsy's finally been released and the FBI filings. Like, none of it makes sense. Are there one shooter? Is there two? Is there five? We don't know. It's weird. It's just weird the way things are going with our government right now. Because we tend to be getting a lot of pretty words. Hitman arrested in Chicago Border Patrol assassination plot. It's just everything you scroll through on the internet right now is absolute. Yes, I'm sitting in the passenger seat because her air conditioner's in the driver's seat. And she's back there sleeping like a little baby like she does all the time. But it's just everything you look up right now is just something horrible. Now we got people saying Charlie Kirk faked his death. He's not really dead. He just left the country. What? How does that make sense at all? Like, even the slightest little bit, how the fuck does that make sense? How does that make sense? You know, we got people going pretty fucking crazy right now. Okay, let's listen to what the Chicago police chief is saying about all of this stuff.
The dispatch audio. Some pretty incredible moments there, John, as we take this all in. This is an update from the Chicago police, obviously contradicting the audio that we heard, the dispatch audio, of the moment that the Chicago PD were told to stand down on helping those ICE officers when they were under attack. Here's about 13 seconds of that dispatch audio.
Did you just hear that? Did you people just hear that?
The chief of patrol, we have all the units for
Look at
999. Chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
All right, so Jonathan Fahey, former acting ICE director, is still with us. And we're also joined by Chicago Fraternal Order of Police President John.
For those of you that didn't just hear that, we need to hear that again.
Incredible moments there, John, as we take this all in.
Listen.
This is an update from the Chicago police, obviously contradicting the audio that we heard, the dispatch audio, of the moment that the Chicago PD were told to stand down on helping those ICE.
So let's make this very clear. This was when these people were ramming the ICE vehicles and they had them surrounded by vehicles so they could go nowhere. The ICE agents ended up having to draw their active firearms and shooting at the crowd. That's how far this is now going. Latin King's commander was arrested for putting out an assassination hit on the commander of ICE. I mean, it's just getting fucking wild out here. Let's continue to hear this.
Officers when they were under attack. Here's about 13 seconds of that dispatch audio, John.
Again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units for 999. Chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
All right, so Jonathan Fahey, former acting.
So federal agents of the United States government are being attacked doing their fucking job. Simply out here doing their job. These people have families. These people have people they care about. Out here doing their job. They're being attacked. And when they call for the cops that are supposed to be the ones that uphold the law and the Constitution, they're told they will get no backup from the corrupt, woke law enforcement of this community. They need to be arrested immediately. Donald Trump, we need to have fucking military special forces fly in on these motherfuckers right now and arrest every single one of them, these fucking oath breakers, not upholding their oath of office. See, we're at war. This is war. We're at 100% at war in this country. We no longer have the ability or the luxury of tolerance or mercy for these fucking people because they're just murdering us. And then their politicians and their cops are saying, yeah, that's okay. We're not going to respond. We're going to let them fucking attack you. But then when we defend ourselves, their fucking pussy's so big you can see it from outer space and they become professional victims. You know what I mean? That is, yes, that was yesterday. This all happened yesterday. This was 20 hours ago. So let's continue to hear how fucked up the police department is in this area, who should be fired immediately because none of this is going to change until we remove these corrupt cops. So I'm going to say it again, and I'll say it in every single fucking live. We need to put Pete Hegseth in the military and all of these departments that are doing this. Not in the streets, in the departments. Doing the job of these cops, removing these unconstitutional officers and holding them accountable, stripping them of their qualified immunity and arresting them and putting them where they belong. Okay? And then the military can do their job, which they're already going to be doing anyway, while we hire all new constitutional officers and prosecutors. Boom, we just fixed the city. We literally fixed the fucking city. It's that fucking easy. That's your mission statement. But that's not what's happening, because unfortunately, our country revolves around some dumbass fucking shit right now, and we don't have laws in America anymore. Only the laws for them and not for us, you know, because we don't seem to get the benefit of the laws in America, because we do get ran down by the FBI. We do get arrested in the streets for actual protesting and not getting violent. You know, we do get harassed and have our vehicles towed by these leftists. They do arrest us when they attack us and we defend ourselves. You know what I mean? And then call us fascists, which is the craziest part of it. So you literally can't do thing that a fascist does and then project that on everybody else. I mean, this is just getting fucking retarded at this point, you know? They don't even make sense anymore. They're just outright giving up on all logic, and they're like, oh yeah, celebration of people getting murdered and attacked in the fucking streets while they're doing their jobs. Let's celebrate that in America, that people are getting attacked for going after criminal invader terrorists that aren't paying taxes that are working on that job, guaranteed, you know, and they keep saying, well, we're a sanctuary city. There's no such thing, not in America. You don't have that legal right or that authority to aid and abet. That's the definition of fucking terrorism, politicians. Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, but they've already said, listen. If you watch all of the broadcasts that happened today, what I'll do is I'll set up OBS studios when I get done with this live, and I will just put consecutively and not talk at all. I'll walk away from the camera and eat lunch, and I'll just play the Pam Bondis. And because it got so bad that the piece of shit vice president that we have and Pete Hegseth came to the press briefing and intervened and started speaking as well. That's how bad our politicians are getting attacked by these people on the left right now. And what they tend to forget is there was a majority mandate in America for this to happen. You know what I mean? All of you tend to forget there was a majority mandate so large that you couldn't fucking fake it this time. You couldn't fucking steal it this time. You know, Russia collusion couldn't help you. Fucking impeaching our president couldn't help you. Calling our president a pedophile couldn't help you. You keep saying Trump's on the Epstein list. But if he was on the Epstein list, all they would have done was redacted the Democrat names, and they would have 100% released it if Trump was on. The Democrats would have released the Epstein list. They refused to release it when they were in fucking office, but now they're pushing to have it released. You see how that works? They would not release it. They have 4 years to release the Epstein files. They released none of it. You know what I mean? We did. So, fuck the fucking Democrats. Fuck the left at this point. Nobody cares anymore. But, I mean, it is what it is. We can literally sit back and have fun watching this show happen, you know? What do you guys think is going to happen? I'm going to have, when I go to the city, once I get my truck fixed and all this is full-time going again next month, I'm going to have to wear full-ass body armor. I say the police just aren't doing their job. It's not got nothing to do. They were ordered to, they took orders. They took unconstitutional orders from the mayor. They're not doing their job. They're not upholding the Constitution. They're oath breakers. They need to be arrested and put in prison for the rest of their lives for violating their oath to office. They're saying, they literally said, the police just said, we're just taking orders. No, you're being fucking actual fucking tyrants and taking unconstitutional orders. Anything that goes against the Constitution doesn't exist. Your feelings don't dictate the fucking law, left. Your feelings will never dictate the law. Nobody cares about your feelings at all. Your feelings don't dictate anything except the fact that you poop in your pants and then change your shirt, you know. Yeah, you're right. I don't have anybody in here right now. You're absolutely right. And if you understand, if you go to my post right now, I got 35,000 views on my live last night, and I made $250 in 2 fucking hours. So fuck you. And if you look at the fact that you're in my fucking chats right now, let's look you up, Scott from New York. Let's see how many people you got on your channel, because you're in my chats right now. I'm not in yours. You know, let's look you up. Like I did last night, I looked up all my trolls. All of them had themselves as a fucking Scott from New York on YouTube. Give me the definition of fascist, because I just read it off for you a minute ago. Tell me what a fascist is. Is a fascist an entire culture of Antifa and leftists that want to murder people just because they don't agree with them? Or is a fascist the people that have tolerated you for 4.5 years while you've murdered and destroyed our cities? Or is a fascist politicians on TV saying that they are fucking fantasizing about murdering their political opponents? Is that fascism? Because that's what you're doing on the left right now. Or is fascism your Democrat mayor that in your state right now that literally just fucking put a curfew on when your people can protest? Who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows? Boom. Let's search your search. Is that you? Yeah, that's you right there. The first one that's actually got 200 subscribers. Look at that. Oh God, look at these. Look at the kind of people he backs on his channel. Look at these videos. Holy shit. The funny thing is they say I'm in a cult while I sit here and talk shit about my own side at the same time. See, in a cult, you wouldn't ever talk bad about your own side. I don't believe in fucking communism and federalizing our cities is technical communism, because boom. 1 second. Let me find it here. See, even Jack Posobiec read it off earlier. He was reading off what you're supposed to do in times of insurrection, you're supposed to activate the militia. And that's what we would prefer to happen right now, is the militia be activated like the government is supposed to do, because we're not supposed to have a militant force over the people. But right now, since you think you know what our Constitution and our government was written on, I'm going to read you the fact that we are a Christian nation, since you all think we're not a Christian nation. You know what I mean? And you think that, so let's go through George Washington's farewell speech really fast. Of all the dispositions and habits which led to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supporters. In vain would the man claim the tribute of patriotism who should labor to subvert these great pillars. Let me reread that for you really fast, you fascist. All the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion, and morality are indispensable supporters. In vain would that man claim the tribute of patriotism, who should labor to subvert these great pillars of human happiness, these firmest props of the duties of men and citizens. The duties of men and citizens. The mere politician, equally with the pious man, ought to respect and to cherish them. Let it simply be asked, where is the security of property, of reputation, for life, if the sense of moral and religious obligation desert the oaths which are the instruments of investigation in courts of justice? George Washington, farewell speech. Absolutely. You know I already am, though. You know I already am. This is Benjamin Franklin. I have so much faith in the general government of the world by providence that I can hardly convince a transaction of such momentous importance to the welfare of millions should be suffered to pass without being some degree of influence guided and governed by an omnipotent, omnipresent, and beneficial ruler. Benjamin Franklin. So literally all of the writings of the forefathers in the Constitution say we are a Christian nation, but we're not a Christian nation, is what you say. Indispensable pillars of human society, moral and religious people. Okay. That was Benjamin Franklin. That was the power in the Constitution will always be in the people. It is entrusted for certain defined purposes and for a certain limited period, the representatives of their own choosing, and whenever it is executed contrary to their interests or not agreeable to their wishes, their servants can undoubtedly will be recalled and replaced with new rulers. That was George Washington. Thomas Jefferson. On every question of Constitution, let us carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted. Not adapt the Constitution, not change the Constitution, not interpret it the way you want it to be, not say, well, we're not in that same date and time, so we need to go forward. No, it says on every question of Constitution, let us carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted. Recollect the spirit manifested in the debates, and instead of trying what meaning we may be squeezed out of the text or invented against it, conform to the probable one in which it was passed. Thomas Jefferson. Okay. The powers delegated by the proposed Constitution to the federal government are few and defined. Those which are to remain in the state government are numerous and indefined. The Federalist, number 45, essay by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison. Influence is no government. George Washington. I mean, you could only so we'll go to, let's see, Article, what is it? Article 4, 7 or 8, blah, blah, shall pass House approved obligation, or is it considered, blah, blah, let me see, blah, blah, not that one, not 6. I think it's the 8th article. To do my for conversation, etc. Bear with me for 1 second. Government. Okay. So we're going to go to Article 8, Section 8, Article of the Constitution. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. To raise and support, but no appropriations of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years. Okay, so the fact that we've been giving these other countries money for more than 2 years for war is already against the Articles of the Constitution. To provide and maintain a navy, to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. Here's where it comes in crispy right here. Listen. To provide and maintain a navy that make rules for the government regulation land forces, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions is what we're supposed to be doing right now. Let me reread that for you. Out of the United States Constitution, Article Section 8 of the Articles of the Constitution, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions, to provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 square miles. Do you understand? Okay, so that's Article 8 of the Articles. And then you have the Second Amendment in itself, which talks about it. But what nobody else talks about is in the Fifth Amendment, I think it is. Let's make sure. All debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of the Constitution made shall be made under the authority of the United States, all senators, representative members. So it's not Article 8, it might be Article 4. Let's go through. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall oppose amendments to the Constitution or appropriation legislations. Talking about ratification, may oppose articles. The 9th. So that's the 5th. Bear with me because it's got all of them in the same section here, guys. So I have to find the different amendments. Yeah, Article 5. Those are the articles. Now we need the constitutional amendments. Okay, so here's George Washington's beliefs on the resolved New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Mr. Hamilton from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. In convention, Monday, September 17th, 1787. That the preceding Constitution be laid before the United States in Congress assembled, and that it is the opinion of this convention that it should afterwards be submitted to a convention of delegates chosen in each state by the people, therefore under recommendation of its legislator, for their assent and ratification of that each convention. The same should give notice, therefore, to the United States in Congress assembled, resolved, that it is the opinion of the convention that as soon as the conventions of 9 states shall have ratified the Constitution, the United States in Congress assembled should fix a day on which electors should be appointed by the state, which shall have ratified the same, in a day on which the electors should assemble to vote for the president, and the time and place for commencing proceedings under the Constitution, that after such publication the electors should be appointed, and the senators and representatives elected, that the electors should meet on the day fixed for the election of the president, and should transmit their votes certified, signed, sealed, and directed as the Constitution requires. To the security of the United States Congress assembled, that the senators and representatives should convene at the time, place assigned, that the senators should appoint a president of the Senate for the sole purpose of receiving, opening, and continuing the votes for the president, and that after he shall be chosen, the Congress together with the president should without delay proceed to execute this Constitution. So the Congress and the president, the executive authorities, when the president is writing his executive authorities, that is ratified by the Constitution on September 17th, 1787. Okay? Now you get into the actual amendments, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment. First, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay? But let's go over to the Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for any capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on the presentment of indictment of a grand jury, except in the cases arising in land or naval forces or in the militia of the United States, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offenses to be twice. So there's like 22 different writings in the Constitution itself that says the militia is supposed to be the law of the Union. So let's understand that right off the bat. So there's a lot of things that are not going well in our country right now. There are a lot of terrorists in our streets right now. There are politicians fighting against politicians with military force. We have cops hearing federal agents being attacked in the streets and nobody's doing anything about it. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. But we have a lot of angry terrorists that are killing and maiming, and we cannot tolerate it. And that's all we need to know, guys. I love you guys. I pray that God brings discernment and understanding and kindness into all of us. I pray that God just repels the demons and ends all this overnight. I pray that God gives us the strength to fight the demons. I pray that God gives us discernment and understanding to give us the intellect and the opportunity to bring some of these demon-possessed people back to the Lord and to the King Jesus Christ. In your name, amen. Guys, I love you so very much. Absolutely. They're supposed to be the local enforcement of everything. 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 You know what I mean? All these cops that are not upholding the Constitution right now, I guarantee you their Minutemen in those states would be more than willing, their state militias would be more than willing to step in until they can find good replacements. Or we can just enact the militia as the law of the union for insurrection and criminal cases like we're supposed to. You know, so for insurrection and invasion, so it doesn't have to be federal agents in the streets. You know what I mean? It could be the militia going after these people and backing up the federal agents. And we don't have to worry about the same scrutiny that the government does. 22% of who are nuts now. Because if we talk about the Democrats, 68% in polls just said it was okay to murder, kill, and rape people. Oh, bro, that big story I broke on the cartels and these fucking Latin King motherfuckers up in New York and Chicago. I mean, I'm probably going to be getting all kinds of crazy shit happening because of that. But, you know, I'm going to have gang members and shit coming after me now. But that's okay because this stuff needs to get out here. Like, you'll notice that, and I'm not knocking them at all, but the social media personalities like Tim Pool and a lot of them that have talked about this today, flat out say, we're not going to say anything against these gangs because they will come after us. And Tim's actually from right there in Chicago. He's from Chi-Town, you know, so, I mean, he grew up in what's happening right now. So he has firsthand knowledge of what's happening right now. Oh, it's way more than 20%. Unfortunately, at this point, it's more than 22% because you got to remember, we brought in 20 plus million fucking criminals to our country, and you have to factor them into all of this as well, you know. So when you add our 22% with an extra 45 million people that aren't supposed to be in our country, it's more 38 to 40% of our country right now is on the wrong side of history. And oh yeah, there's a lot of gangs in Florida, but there's also a lot of MC clubs here. There's more MC clubs than there are gangs. When you get down into Miami and Tampa and stuff, they got a ton of gangs out there. But they're not going to cross the outlaws and the Hells Angels and the Bandinos and shit like that. They'll just fucking kill them. You know what I mean? This is a biker state, period. The town I live in has always been a biker town. I mean, we have people riding down the road 200 deep at a time. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. They have an army. Absolutely. I mean, if you notice, a lot of the times the people that actually get out here and stand up in California and Texas and places like that are the Hells Angels. They're the ones that get out here with 200, 300, 400 bikers and fucking stand up for these cops, which everybody's like, oh, the Hells Angels are evil people. Well, that's my family. And I can tell you this right now, they are some of the best people I've ever known in my fucking life. I might not have been around them for quite a few years now, but I mean, if I were to go on my Facebook and tell any of them, hey man, I need some fucking help right now, and tell them who my mom and dad was, they would fucking help me right now. You know what I mean? That's just the kind of people they are. And they have chapters all over the fucking world, everywhere. You know, they're a brotherhood. They've been around much longer than any of these other organizations, and they've gone through way much more, you know. They're the ones that go around on Christmas handing out toys to all the children when nobody else is doing anything to help people. So, I mean, and then we've got, those are the 1%ers, and then we've got the 3%ers like me, you know what I mean? And there are millions of us out here, and we are very, very state legally organized. Like the Berserker militia, we're state registered militia. We're a state militia. We're not a general militia. So anytime this state wants to call upon us, they can. You know what I mean? We'll be there to help and fight. So, and just around here in this area, there's 4,800 of us. So there's enough of us. You know what I mean? The funny thing is it's not an army though. It's a militia. There's a difference between a militia and an army. We're a regulated militia. We train together in militant and counterterrorism and stuff like that. But we're not like walking around in the streets going after people. You know what I mean? We're literally just here in case our community needs us. That's what we're here for. Most of the people in the militias are moms, dads, you know what I mean, husbands, stuff like that. Families that want to be secure in their person and properties, and they need people to back them up in case something does happen. You know, every community is a militia. The militia, if you read the Federalist Papers, there might be 5 or 10 writings in here about the militia, but that's all the forefathers talk about in the Federalist Papers. Like all throughout the Federalist Papers, it talks about the power of the militia, and it talks about how the militia is the whole body of the people. You know what I mean? So something's going on with YouTube today, Paul, because if you notice, it says you've been my only viewer besides one other person this whole fucking time. And just on that shorter live I did last night, I got 12,000 fucking views. So I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what's happening on YouTube today. Let me see if I can click on that. No, I'm 42 minutes in. I can't see any of my analytics, though. Can you see my analytics? Share the screen with what? I can share the screen with another, with a... Wait a minute. I can share the screen with a whole nother, Oh, I see what's going on here. Can you see that looking like that? I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why this is. Okay, stop sharing stuff. Yeah, I can't find anything. Hey, just so you know, I'm still going live at my regular time at 4. I just wanted to get this in because all of this stuff is happening with these TV personalities right now that's just dumbfounding about freaking it's crazy that they're celebrating this and they're telling people to go out in the streets and get violent. And I mean, I can't believe we're allowing this to happen in our country right now. Hey, Paul, thank you for the support, brother. I'll see you again in a couple hours, my friend. You know, I went live for 7 hours yesterday just with those 2 streams. I didn't realize I had been live for 4 hours when I cut out yesterday. Have a good night, guys. Or good day, I should say.